Alright, so number 8, and I believe the next few are going to be using the intermediate value theorem to determine if there's a possible zero between the two given numbers. Alright, so number 8, which is off the screen, we have f of x is equal to x to the third plus 5x to the second minus 8x minus 41. And we are going to be plugging in a as negative 5 and b as negative 3. Okay, so what this problem aims to do, it wants to plug in these numbers and see if the y values have different sign, if one is positive, one is negative. So I'm going to show you what they want you to do by plugging in. I'm going to do it with synthetic division, and I'll explain that process, and then you can either plug it in, which you can use a calculator to do that, or when you learn the synthetic division process, you can do it that way, because you're going to need that as well later on in the course. So if I were plugging in a, I would do f, and I would plug in a negative 5 for the x value. That's what they want you to do. So I would do a negative 5 to the third, and then plus, it would be 5 times negative 5 squared, and then minus 8 times negative 5, and then minus 41. So you're just going to be plugging in that value everywhere. And then you would have to do the math. So if I do 5 cubed, negative 5, positive 25, times a negative 5, this would give me a negative 125. And then I would do negative 5 squared, that would give me 25 times 5, that's plus 125. And hopefully you can see a negative 125, positive 125, going to cancel each other out. And then negative 8 times negative 5 is going to be a positive 40, and then minus 41. So at the end of the day, these two are going to zero each other out. When I subtract here, that's going to give me a negative 1. Okay, so that's one way to do it. Now the way that I like to do it is with synthetic division. Synthetic division, you check to make sure you have all your terms, and what I mean by that, you start with your highest degree, which is 3, and you count down backwards to 0. So we got 3, 2, 1, and 0. So you're basically counting your variables. If you have all those terms, we are going to simply list the coefficients of the number in front. So that's understood to be a positive 1, understood to be a 5, understood to be a negative 8, and then a negative 41. The number that we plugged in is going to be what I'm calling our box number. So you're going to skip a little bit of space and draw a line. And you bring the first number straight down. And then from here you're going to do a pattern. Multiply below, write the result, and add. And then you'll keep multiplying by negative 5 below, write the result, and then add. So I'm going to do negative 5 times 1. It's going to give me a negative 5. Add these, I get 0. Negative 5 times 0, 0. Add these, I get a negative 8. Negative 5 times negative 8, positive 40. Subtract or add these, and you get a negative 1. So the number that you get at the end is what you would get when you plug it in. I find that to be a little bit faster than cubing and then having to go back and add everything up. So 1, when I plug in negative 5, I got a negative 1. I'm going to do the same process with negative 3. Of course, you can also just plug it in just like we did here and get the result, but I like the synthetic. 1, 5, negative 8, negative 41. Skip some space, draw a line, bring the first term straight down. Negative 3 times 1, negative 3, add or subtract whatever the signs tell you, and we get a 2. And then we're going to start again. Negative 3 times 2, negative 6. Add these, we get a negative 14. Negative 3 times a negative, so negative times a negative is a positive. 14, we get 42, positive 42. Add these or subtract, and we get a positive 1. So we can see that one answer was negative, one answer was positive. So that means somewhere between these two numbers it had to cross a 0 to go from negative to positive. So the intermediate value theorem does tell us that we get a 0, so the function does not have at least one 0. B says the function has at least one real 0. When we plugged in A, we got negative 1. When we plugged in B, we got positive 1. So when you notice a sign change, that means you get a 0.